And it looks like we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Alexi, and tonight we are playing Checkpoint Midnight, Waltz of Treachery, Season 2, Session 1. This is a game facilitated through the Gauntlet gaming community. Find out all about the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com and follow it on Twitter at GauntletRPG. We are playing Checkpoint Midnight. Checkpoint Midnight is a game in development about supernatural operatives in Cold War Vienna. I am the designer of the game, and I'm very excited to be testing it here with fellow members of the Gauntlet. You can learn more about Checkpoint Midnight if that seems like something you'd be interested in at bit.ly/checkpointmidnight list. As I mentioned, this is Season 2. So Checkpoint Midnight Waltz of Treachery is a Gauntlet quarterly. So we're telling a story spanning several months. Some characters will carry over from season to season. Some characters will be joining us tonight. So we've got some new characters to introduce that are becoming part of this story. And I like to think of the seasons as having their own arcs and their own integrity, but there will be situations and NPCs and even two-player characters carrying over during this quarterly. And we're now kicking off Season 2, as I said. So let's go ahead and meet our players. Folks, why don't we do just play actions first? So I'll have each of you say your name, pronouns if you wish, and online handle if you so desire, or some other fun fact if you don't want to share your online handle. Puckett, start us off, please.
Hi there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I think my interesting fact is that there are enough spiders on the planet that if they work together, they could kill us all with no problems.
It's a good thing they aren't that coordinated.
Pleasant dreams.
Leandro, you're up next.
Hi, my name's Leandro. I use he, him pronouns. The interesting fact I have is one I've reused a couple of months ago, but it's been a few months, so I'm going to reuse it. Did you know that the term Gundam, as in, the series franchise about giant robots, the term comes from a portmanteau of the word gun and the word freedom. Gun, freedom. Yeah, that's where Gundam came from.
Fascinating. Leandro, good to have you back. Jesse, welcome. Tell us about yourself.
I am Jesse. I use he, him pronouns, and my interesting fact comes from, I think, the Bill James 1982 baseball abstract, which is that at the time there were two gentlemen named William Wilson, both African American, both first basemen, both playing in the major leagues. One was better known by the name Mookie. And interestingly, Edgar Allan Poe wrote a short story about a pair of doppelgangers whose lives kept on intersecting. Their names, William Wilson.
That was quite a journey. Thank you so much, Jesse. Last but not least, Stephen, welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hey there. I'm Stephen, he, him. Do I have any interesting facts on the top of my head? Sorry. Sorry about this.
No worries, no pressure. You can also share an interesting fact later when one comes to you if you so desire.
Okay.
Good. Sorry to spring that on, folks. Good to have you all here playing. We're going to get to know our characters next. So we've got two folks bringing back characters, and I'm gonna ask you each to give us kind of the summary of what we should know about these characters. Especially aimed at the fact we have new players joining. What should those players definitely know about your operatives that they're going to be operating alongside in Vienna? So Puckett, start us off. Tell us a little about Jack.
Jack is, I think I said last time that he's a deeply unhappy person. And wouldn't you be if you were resting and at peace, knowing that you had served your country and given your last full measure, only to wake up and find other body parts stitched onto you and realize you have a bunch of pipes with a hinge in them for a leg, and that You couldn't actually die because a bunch of scientists had dug you up and experimented on you and then left so that it was hard to track them down to kill them to make sure that they couldn't do this to anybody else. Jack is someone who has a mission, and it is not a pleasant one. And there's a lot of well-earned collateral damage along the way. I mean, if you're chasing down scientists who are behaving like war criminals, why not kill some war criminals while you're at it?
Jack Hardesty, not a man to mince words, but sometimes a man to mince enemies with grenades or other military-grade weaponry. Jack, great to have you. You've been getting more entangled with the Americans. I want to check. Do you have a sort of outstanding entanglement to choose from the last time we were playing? Have you gotten the chance to give that some thought?
Oh, I was thinking about it before I got that level. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have some fun with it. Promise.
Okay. But so you'll give us a sense of how that's going when we check in with Jack in play.
Yep.
All right. Let me go ahead and do what I always forget to do, which is share the screen so anyone watching this as a video can see the cool illustrations we've pulled for these characters. So moving along, Leandro, will you tell us about Emilie?
Yeah, Emilie Landau uses she, her pronouns. She's using the artful playbook, which is basically someone who is possessed of a great deal of weird kind of luck ability. Who knows? She's the kind of person who just kind of gets into situations and just gets out with nary a scrape on her. She was just some nobody girl from some random village near the border of Austria when she was swept away in a whirlwind kind of romance with this strange woman by the name of Victoria, who was not as she seemed. She brought Emilie to Vienna, where the two of them got involved in the strange supernatural underworld that underpins this game. And Victoria left and gave Emilie some kind of weird it's weird, it's hard to explain. It's like basically she left Emilie with some kind of power that means she's just really lucky, but she's not sure what she is right now or that she minds, other than if it gets her to get herself more entangled in the strange Vienna underworld and just have fun with it. Should be grand. Yeah, she's severe contrast to Mr. Hardesty in that, like, she doesn't seem to have many scruples. Who knows if that'll change?
She has inherited a conscience, I'll point out, because at the end of our last series, we lost an operative, and that operative had a small ladybug that served as her conscience, and she left it to Emilie. So Emilie, how have you been dealing with that? Having this new little buzzing voice sometimes reminding you of what the right thing to do is.
Yeah, well, the thing is, that was Ashley's conscience, not Emily's. And Constance still has a lot to learn about Emilie. She's not. The Beetle has not found the right way to talk Emilie into anything at the moment. We'll see when we come in.
We'll see, absolutely, and I'm willing to give you advantage on things if you're following your conscience, because I feel like if a player bequeaths you that, you should get the kind of mechanical bonus as well. Great to have you back. Great to see more of Emilie in this city. Next up, we're turning to the first of our new characters. Jesse, will you tell us about your character?
Sure. I'm playing Joske Rabinovich. But Americans and British people might just want to call me Joe, and that's fine. I'm originally a Polish Jew, raised in a sort of traditional religious household, ran away pretty young, to join the Bund, the sort of workers' party, atheistic workers' party. Got during the war, I fought with partisans in Poland, but was eventually caught by the Nazis and taken to a death camp. And we're not going to talk too much about what happened there, but everyone I know, my whole family, gone. I did manage to get out. I survived to liberation, and after that, flirted with a few different ideologies. Russian communism for a bit, Zionism for a hot second, went and fought in the Israeli War for Independence, but state power turned out was not really something I wanted a whole lot to identify with after the war. So I got out of there, and mostly what I've been doing since then is working kind of as a mercenary to earn money and killing Nazis whenever I can. But in particular, throughout all of this, right, I sort of become attuned to the fact that the Nazis were not just interested in like basic political power. They wanted to transform the world through their occult researches, and those conspiracies continue. Even though the Reich was defeated, and I'm in Vienna now because I know that there's a group of Nazis who are collaborating with Nightmare Fae to try and slowly take over, meld the Nightmare realm with the with ours, and bring about the domination of the master race.
And for some reason, people are skeptical of your
Yes.
theories about this conspiracy.
Yeah, I think, and what I said before, people don't buy it. They look at someone. Because this isn't on the Lines and Veils thing, but like, no, never mind. Just like there's I think like I imagine this playbook can often run into like gaslighting stuff. Like I'm cool with that. I'm part of the reason I chose the playbook is because I actually kind of like playing in that space. But if other people are not, I just want to sort of like check in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to check.
But yeah, so I think the basic sort of deal here is that like people think that people think that this is my way of coping with my trauma, right? They're like, oh yeah, like sure, right? They're connected with evil monstrous beings from another realm. If that like helps you deal with the evil of humanity, that's fine. But they're wrong. I'm actually totally okay is the wrong word, but like not afraid to confront the evil of humanity at all. Right? This is that they don't understand how evil humans really can be. But so I think people tend to think that I'm inventing it as a coping mechanism.
Got it. And let's take a look. So you are the Relentless playbook with the Dreamstalker role related to dealing with this conspiracy between Nazis and Nightmare Fae. Can you remind me quickly the moves that you've chosen from the Relentless book?
So I first of all have the Dreamstalker move, which lets me enter a sleeping person's dream and to pursue these Nightmare Fae. I've also taken 1 in a million shot, which when you line up an unlikely shot and take it, roll plus Dreamer. On a hit, you've struck a lethal weak point. On a 7 to 9, you've overtaxed yourself to do it, mark 2 stress. On a miss, you've only winged them, and they now know exactly where you are. And Fearful Symmetry, which does not rhyme with I. You have a ritual that helps you think like the monsters do. When you tap into this monstrous sympathy, roll plus operator. On a hit, you can pinpoint a monster, predict the monster's next move. On a 10 plus, you've never felt so alive, clear a stress. On a miss, you're in their clutches, follow the monster's will, or mark 2 conditions to wrench free.
So it sounds to me like you're hoping for opportunities to be in tight spots where you might need to kind of take unlikely shots and kind of risk your own sort of mind and will in order to uncover what the monsters are up to. Does that sound right to you?
Yes, it does.
Wonderful. If there's any of the backstory questions you feel like haven't kind of been covered so far, can we go over those?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 2 things I really I want to hit is that, like, in this sort of like not hunt for Nazis and hunt, right, and this general sort of like hunting around to murder people, right? Like, I think that I've become, and also in the sort of like jumping from ideology to ideology of my youth, I've kind of become a nihilist, right? Like, none of this stuff brought me comfort or really improved the world in a meaningful way. So I'm sort of like, well, I guess, and that often sort of like makes it hard for me to connect to other people. And then I have this contact, her name is, I think it's pronounced Dika. She's a Romani woman who also survived the camps with me. And I've sort of ran into her again in Vienna. And she's like, she gets the wanting to kill Nazis thing. But ultimately, like, what she's really just like, can't you just live your life? I just like, why can't people just live? War's over. Let it be over.
What is she doing in the city? Like, how is she kind of getting by?
That's a great question. I want to say, I mean, I think from my perspective, she's like a laundress. She like she owns a laundry. She does people's wash. She takes in laundry, and that's kind of how she gets by. I'm open to her having some place in the supernatural world as well that either I'm not yet aware of, or
Got it. But as far as you can tell, your friend is just trying to live out, a normal life in the city where she's found herself after all of the trauma of war. Yeah.
And she's constantly trying to talk me out of my mission. That's, I think, like a real.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing specified in that question is that she's patched you up once or twice when you came back in not quite one piece from one of your jobs. Yeah.
Yes. Gotten some blood on other people's laundry.
Very cool. Let's see. We'll go back around for relationships and leverage after we've introduced all of our characters. Anything else we should definitely know about Joske before we move on?
One last little thing is that he's also kind of a little bit of an Epicurean. I think that's the other side of his nihilism, right? Not like a literal Epicurean, but he likes the finer things in life, and tries to appreciate them.
I mean, that's very understandable, and Vienna is a city for that.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Then let's turn to, last but not least, Stephen. Tell us about your Wayward character.
Hi there. Hey there, darlings. I'm playing Valentine Garvey. He, him, the Wayward. I am just a child of night that Mama has decided to cast out of her realm. So until then, I smuggle the occasional token or object of beauty for her to devour and draw into the eternal into the eternal shade of night. And sometimes I have a bit of a side business, smuggling the occasional poor pale shade that passes through her dark realm to what lies beyond back into the mortal world.
Do they like come back to life in that case, or like are you ferrying ghosts into the world, or are you bringing back souls that are able to like be alive again?
I think that I am bringing back souls. They do need something to be placed into,
Oh,
though.
fascinating. Well, we've seen some of the various projects for cheating death in Vienna already. So it's fascinating starting to speculate how this all might fit together. After being cast out of your mother's court and landing in this city, what is your life like? Like as far as a non-supernatural denizen of the city could tell, what is Valentine up to?
Oh, I maintain an entirely legitimate art gallery, I assure you. We do not traffic in any stolen works of art that pass through Vienna onto other shores.
Totally legit. Let's see. Do you mind running through the moves you've picked out from the Wayward book?
Yes, I have, besides being Duskmantle Child of Night and being able to steal people's shadows to take on their appearance. Although, when you have my appearance, why would you? I also am able to thread the maze to navigate the labyrinthine byways that link this city and the Nether Realm. And attend the tale. When I regale a denizen of Vienna with tales of the Nether Realm, or vice versa, I can convince. Basically, I can use that to convince them. To convince them of one thing or another, that they need me because to get something from there, that they shouldn't go there. So on.
Nice. So it sounds like you want chances to both share stories of the Netherrealm and possibly do some sneaking around through kind of not quite earthly passageways. Does that ring true to you?
Yes, and I mean there is a just the other background question. There is a gang of smugglers in town led by Anton, who's a minor sorcerer. They're all minor in my opinion, but he wants me to help him pull a jailbreak of some of his old sorceress cronies from whatever dark cell they're locked up to in the underworld.
I see. So you've got a sort of Orphic mission as a possibility here. You're interested in figuring out a way to do that without attracting your mother's notice.
Hello?
Oh,
I disappeared for a sec. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I was just saying yes. It's something like that. I mean, a Norfolk mission, if like the mission was a heist movie.
I see. I think there's one last background question to cover, which is your contact question. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, my darling Skilla, my cousin. She's a tempestuous little bitch, but I love her. She knows that I'm smuggling souls. I know all her little love affairs with mortals that Mama would never approve of. So we're the best of friends.
So you're kind of mutually blackmailing each other?
In a friendly manner, yes.
Very well. And this is the Scylla of Greek mythology, like
of course.
Of and Charybdis.
Yes. I mean, she devours the lovers as well. That's the main reason Mama would not approve.
Knight has to have some standards, I suppose. I assume she also has a fashionable human form while here in the city.
Oh, of course.
Wonderful. Anything else we should definitely know about Valentine before we start looping around and checking in on relationship questions?
No, I think that basically sums up my what important bits.
Oh, what's like is Scylla like you also kind of, to all intents and purposes a sort of art connoisseur type in the city? Like what's her cover?
Oh no, Scylla runs one of the finest nightclubs and cabarets in Vienna.
I see. There we go. We'll come up with a name for that when the time comes, I suppose. But for now, I'm gonna swing back around and take a look at some of these relationship questions. So Jack, you filled in a few relationships before, but I wonder if the one that points at a PC who's no longer with us is one you think might apply to either of our new cast members.
I think that I can just carry Ashley as a weight as opposed to a relationship. I think I would have found the most kinship or simpaticoness with Joske.
So you think you might have shared some of your worries with Joske?
Considering that we seem to appreciate similar things in life. Maybe a nice cup of coffee, a nice baked good, killing a fascist. It's like a match made in gunfire.
Yeah, does that sound right right to you?
Absolutely. I'm fairly certain I listened to the things that worry you, noted them in the back of my head, and murmured comforting sounds, and definitely was very happy to discuss our shared tastes together.
And Jack, the leverage that you originally gave out was to 3 other PCs. If it's all right with you, I might have you give leverage to our two new figures, given that you probably remain convinced that somehow the future will depend on these fellow supernatural operatives.
More or less, and I mean Emilie already has leverage on me, so it makes the most sense.
All right, Emilie. You have a relationship that points to a character no longer with us. Is that what could you conceive of that relationship also applying to either of our newcomers?
They have so much neat stuff, both of them. I can say it's not hard to apply this
remind us what it is.
to either of them, which is a Blank caught you trying to steal something from them. What was it? Apparently Valentine has an art gallery for an apartment. That seems neat. Maybe it's less stealing and more like borrowing but forgetting she had it.
What do you think she borrowed? And was from Valentine?
Yeah, because I honestly I could go with either. But I think probably from Valentine, and it's probably something like small, like some framed small.
I think if you're
portrait
stealing something but forgetting, but then so. I do also have a small, intricately made dagger edged with shadow.
Ooh, that seems kind of neat. I might need that. Apparently, I end up a lot in the sewers lately. So that could be neat. And it's the kind of thing that probably I spend a few weeks just I'll get it back to you.
Dear, I should let you know. I should be careful if I were you. The blade is dreadfully sharp enough to even sever, a soul from its mortal coil.
Well, Valentine, apparently according to some sources, I've already sold my soul years ago, so I should be in no small problem.
Well, if that's the case, you should just be selling it more often, dear. If it's already sold, it's better to have a bidding war over it when you die.
Do you want to get in the queue, Valentine? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, dear. I know that your soul happens to be of a low value commodity in my circles.
Aw.
Emilie, do you respect or resent them for letting you off with a warning?
I think let me see. Okay, yeah. I think I kind of like respect him because like Valentine's. I think I can get a sense of Valentine is hot shit for reasons I don't fully understand.
Yeah.
So I think like the fact that he didn't really do more. It's all right in my book.
And despite your facade, you care a lot about how people think of you. Give leverage to all but one of the other PCs. Previously, you gave leverage to everyone but Jack. Does that still hold true?
I don't want to. I want to firm up what kind of relationship I have with Jack. So I think after especially having teamed up with him to save Sky and the whole having spent more time, especially that whole gunfight in the sewer, I think the PC I won't give leverage to is probably Valentine. I'm trying to play it cool.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And here I thought you were going to say the PC I'm not going to give leverage to is Jack.
No, so Jack, you finally get leverage on Emilie. Had to happen sooner or later, I guess. Marvelous. Joske, can you talk about your relationship questions?
Sure. You think of Blank as a potential apprentice. I think it has to be Jack. I think that like Jack's a good GI and a good soldier, and is clearly very good in a fight. But and clearly, as he said, we share a taste for Nazi killing. But I just, he needs to be honed a little sharper. And I think he needs to really understand the stakes. And so but like he has so much potential, and I think he would make a great apprentice. Yeah. You cool with that, Jack?
I think this is going to be a comical relationship. I mean, because
I hope so.
Because I'm looking at this and it's like, wait, Jack, the death, tell me who the war criminal is so I can wreck a city block. Jack is the apprentice.
Yeah, because when you do it right, the Nazi's dead, and that's the only result. That's I think the piece that I think that you need to work on.
Precision.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you need to work on your splash damage.
I think, to be honest, I think there are a couple people who would agree that Jack might need to work on precision. He got told off by the proprietor of Checkpoint Midnight for collateral damage recently.
Look, Herr Franz and I go way back. He understands how these things go. I don't bring it to his establishment.
And your other relationship question, Joske.
So I'm less sure about this one. So Blank sets off alarm bells. Why have you spared them so far? So I could see either one of them setting off alarm bells. Valentine is otherworldly, in a way that I think I might not trust. But Amelie's Austrian. And rooted here in a way that's not the right way to put it. I apologize. It's more like Amelie, the way she always manages to get out of things and just like slide through. It makes it seem like there's someone who's looking out for her, and I don't trust people who look out, who like there's something not right there. I think I'm gonna say, is it Emily or Amelie? How's that pronounced?
I've been pronouncing Emily.
Emily. So I think it's Emily, because I think that Valentine makes more sense for the leverage question. You know what? No, it's definitely Valentine. It just makes too much sense. Valentine. Yeah. If you're okay with that.
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally am.
I think it's Valentine because he's got this sort of like otherworldliness to him that makes it feel like he might be aligned with
Yeah.
with
I think
Nightmare
also
Elves,
given the
Nightmare
setup, you totally are aware of the fact that I am a like, probably since you're investigating the occult, like necromancers, when they need souls for their work, have a tendency to need somebody to actually get the souls into this world.
Right, and folks who move back and forth between worlds are exactly the kind of people that I'm on my guard against. But like, I spared you so far because I can't connect you directly back. I just don't have the intelligence.
And dear, if you killed me, who would be giving you all these wonderful tips about hunting locations?
Oh yes, that's even better, right? So yeah,
I mean,
Valentine.
buy me a drink, dear, and I'll sing for you and do so much more.
Yeah, Valentine, because he's just too damn useful. There we go. And then so I think I'm going to give the leverage to Emily. I know it can be one of the same people, but I think, but Emily, can you tell me why you believe me?
Because I'm probably the most rooted, the most down to earth somehow out of everyone else. One's an otherworldly, probably mythical figure. The other person is undead. I'm just some. Some folks say I'm just some girl who blundered into this. Even though I'm capable of weird stuff. Like, I literally can't die from falling. I have a move that insane, and that'll never happen. But I think you can tell that, like, I've seen some stuff. Like I said, I'm Austrian, but like, where I situated Emily is. I'm trying to remember the name of the village, but I remember it was like the first village that the Soviets crossed over when they were making their way to Germany. So she has seen stuff. She's been part of it, and she hasn't been completely, not to say ungrounded, but she's, as much as she puts on airs, she knows what you're talking about.
Got it. Like, she sees through the bullshit, and like,
yeah. The tricky part is making her care.
Right. Well, that's the first. I don't know that she has to care. She believes me. That's more than most people do.
Yeah, that's leverage. Wonderful. Let's check on Valentine. Valentine, will you tell us your relationship questions?
Yes. First off, I have I've been keeping blank supplied with their poison of choice.
And that can,
of course,
broadly.
Yeah. I mean, we have established, like, this is something we've already established fictionally, but of course I have been giving Joske tips to pursue his probably self-destructive quest. If that's how we want to count it. Otherwise, if Emilie or Frank have an idea, or Jack, sorry.
I mean, that sounded good to me. Are you still? Yeah, that works. If and your other relationship question.
And something about blank helps keep life in this world more interesting than back home. And I don't have anything about... I don't have a connection with Jack yet, and I'm just kind of thinking if this can somehow fit Jack.
I certainly make things more interesting. Emily and I make things interesting in different ways. Emily makes things interesting by taking very long baths, and
Oh, who was that gangster you got into a shootout with over at the Mermaid's Grotto?
me, I tend to. My interesting moments tend to be a bit more explosive.
Well, who says explosions were involved? It was a wonderful display of pyrotechnics, Jack. Better than the closing act that my cousin arranged for the evening.
Well, if you like me because I make things more interesting than back home, you are not wrong.
Okay, I will apply it to Jack.
And Valentine, there was a confusion over how that first one went, but I think I'm right in saying you think you're supplying intel to Joske.
Yeah.
Great, and that's his poison choice because you think his quest is self-destructive.
Yep.
Amazing. Yeah, I misheard you before. I thought you said Jack, and my bad.
No worries.
Valentine,
yeah,
Joske, you gave leverage to Emily?
I did, yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I saw that correctly.
And everybody's in this town's got a racket of some sort, but yours is especially sensitive. Give leverage to 2 PCs who know what you're up to. And I'm giving it to Emilie and Joske because they both clearly know what I'm up to at this point, since I apparently just brag about it to everyone I come across.
So Jack, you haven't necessarily kind of brought in on this. You're just enjoying the shows.
Jack has a wonderful tendency to make things explode, and you keep that away from where you do business.
I mean,
that's fair.
Listen, at heart, I may have been a soldier, but I believe in science, and science dictates that everything can explode. I'm just helping it do that.
That's how science works.
It's just science. I mean, I have nothing to do with it.
I'd love to do a last round, kind of checking in, because we'll have our mission starting off, but I'd love to just get kind of a sense of what moves people are most excited to get the chance to roll, so that I can hopefully set up a scenario where we get to see some of those going off. So Jack, is there a particular move you want to highlight for me?
Alexi, I am usually happy with whatever situation you put us into because I know it's always going to be interesting.
Aw, that's so sweet. Emilie, a move you want to highlight for me as I do some quick planning here?
Sure. I did pick up a move from the advance I got from last week. It's a fairly nifty move. It's a weird one that I want to see on screen. Hole in your pocket. When you draw a door, window, screen, or hole in a flat surface, I can just make it appear, hopefully. Just fascinating.
Yeah, drawing doors. It's a great Looney Tunes power to just drop in here. Yeah, we can try and make that relevant. Absolutely. Joske, a particular move you'd love to highlight?
Yeah, just a basic move. I want to make a stand at some point.
Yeah, to sway someone to your cause. Absolutely. And Valentine, a move, basic or playbook that you want me to have in mind.
I mean, I suppose I'm interested in fast talking at some point, but I generally am pretty easy for me to play into that myself. I'll cause it to come into play whether you want it to or not, along with the tail.
All right. So some chances to socialize. It sounds like.
Yeah.
You want to be able to fast talk or weave a story and draw people into your webs. Absolutely. Very nice. All right. Good to of Jack and Emilie. Great to meet Joske and Valentine. We'll reconvene and kick off kind of in medias res, I think. So let's take 15 and come back at 5 of the hour. Sound good? Nice. All right. See you after break. All right, are we all back?
Yep.
Leandro, there we go. Looks like we're all back then. Cool. It was pointed out in the chat that I might want to give our returning characters a chance to clear some of their stress before we drop right into a mission, and that does make sense. Obviously, there's been some kind of downtime between the end of the first season of this Checkpoint Midnight Quarterly and the season we're kicking off now.
If you just want to have us wipe it clean, we could still jump in right into the middle of whatever disaster we've managed to stumble into this time.
I figured as I kind of lay out a sort of montage of establishing shots of the city, we can just check in with each of you and have you give us the montage version of maybe hitting your refresh move such that you can clear that stress. Does that sound good?
Fine by me.
All right. Yeah. So we open Cold War Vienna. There's some classical music playing. We get shots of the Ferris wheel, shots of the opera house being rebuilt, shots of rubble and orphans living in rubble and scraping out an existence there. Comrade Stalin is on a big poster being bust through the Soviet sector of the city. Meanwhile, former Nazis are quietly, fading into the bureaucracy of the reconstructed, Austrian city government. And in the historic district, the law is administered by 4 men in a jeep, as in a jeep with officers from each of the 4 occupying powers, sometimes not all sharing a common language, attempting to enforce the law in this city. What do we see of Jack if we get a little montage shot here, just establishing some of what's been going on?
Let me ask you this, Emilie, would you be interested in going to Ashley's grave with me or no?
I think she'd come at least once.
Probably your conscience is bugging you to go.
Is it Emilie's conscience or Emily's Constance?
Well, it's Ashley's conscience that Emilie has inherited, yeah?
Whose name is Constance. There we go.
Constance the conscience.
Yeah.
I wonder what Constance has to say about this budding golden apple of yours.
That's between me and her.
So anyway,
but she definitely come.
I think you just see us standing at a very strangely put together grave that looks out of place and doesn't look like it was planned there at this cemetery for unknown soldiers. It just kind of showed up, and I think Ushi spends a fair bit of time beside it, so probably nobody really wants to. I think people have gotten used to it being there, and they're not going to try to clear it away. Yeah,
absolutely. Don't want to disturb this this dog that has a bit of the supernatural about it. Yeah, Emilie, anything else we see as we kind of get this montage and kind of check in again on our returning operatives?
Yeah, I think we get like a faraway shot of her, Jack, making small talk as they leave the graveyard. She's asking him who got the apartment, Ashley's apartment, and then we kind of follow her again, kind of like this weird voyeuristic shot, and she just goes off and kind of like similar to what you did when we last saw her in this kind of like montage. She just like goes and just tries to get some money, doing by fleecing poor, silly, mostly kind of like rich looking Americans. This time what we see her is like she goes like to this back to her apartment and grabs like this bottle of wine. She's found like a bunch of labels of like old Austrian wine, so it looks really expensive and nice. And so she just goes to a train station and just kind of like bumps into people, and the wine is broken. She gets really cross and she's like, "Oh, this was expensive. This was really expensive wine," and kind of like just gets these rich Americans. They're here to like spread some funds for reconstruction and whatnot. And it's easy money for the moment. Yeah.
Easy marks. So you're getting American tourists to like think they've broken your really expensive wine, but you've just put the cheapest wine you can find in relabeled bottles. Sounds like.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's even wine. It's probably just a bunch of grape juice.
Yeah. All right. Well, when you fleece some rubes for fun or profit, you can clear your stress track. So yeah. So you're good as new. The the only problem is this little ladybug in your ear, just buzzing all the time about how you shouldn't be lying to these people, and you're just trying to swat that away.
Yeah, I'm trying to ask it like, what does it want? I just made some money. Do they want, like, I don't know, a toy house or some
Stealing
kind
is
of...
wrong, Emily. Don't you know that? Didn't you ever learn that when you were young, that you shouldn't steal from people? It's bad. It hurts their feelings.
Oh my God, is Puckett playing this conscience from now on?
Nah.
Yeah, just a taste there. Yeah. You know what? Since we're introducing our characters, Joske, if we got just a kind of a little shot establishing something about how you live here in the city, what will we see?
Yeah, so it's an exterior shot of like a townhouse, and then it zooms in on what looks like a small decorative window, like at the top of the house, not like a separate area or anything. And you see into a small, kind of cozy, very neat apartment, like say 2-room apartment. And it's neat, well appointed, comfortable chair, comfortable couch, well decorated. You could tell everything in there is of high quality, even though it's not ostentatious. And you see me sitting in the chair, and there's probably like a shot that establishes that the cigarettes I'm smoking are American cigarettes, right? And the whiskey I'm drinking is Scotch whiskey. And
you get a hold of those,
yeah. Somehow I don't know how much of them I can get a hold of, but just in this sort of like establishing shot, like the idea that I like this stuff, that's sort of the idea there, and I think I'm holding a note from Valentine, right? All of my poisons all together in one place. A note from Valentine with a sort of describing someone who recently moved through from the land of nightmares, or attempted to, and looking at the letter, matching it up with a newspaper article about a murder, and putting a little mark on a map.
Absolutely, gotta have that map with those unsolved murders on it. Valentine, if we got one of these kind of montage shots of you, what do you think we would see?
Yes, we have Valentine catching lunch with one of his clients, happily informing her that in fact her husband isn't dead. He simply faked his own death to get out of their marriage. And then she like storms out angrily, at which point I gesture over at the waiter. The bill would be on Madame Gruber's tab. Yes.
What a service you provide. Very good. So, Emilie, I'm going to turn to you. You recently got back in touch with your friend from the American intelligence community, Agent George Dixon. So I think he has a little mission for you, and he's offering a substantial payment. He knows your the value of your work, for you to get into an invite only art auction that's being held in the French quarter of the city. wealthy Indies and others in the city are coming to bid on pieces of art in order to raise funds for the restoration of the opera house, especially after those strange explosions on its roof a couple months ago. But the Americans are worried because one of the art pieces is a cubist painting by Marcel Mignard called Stygian Blue Dreams. It's the talk of the art world, but in the intelligence community, it's gained a reputation as having some kind of a supernatural aura around it. The Americans are worried someone else might weaponize it, and they want you to make sure that it leaves the auction and heads in their direction rather than any other. So since we're going to kind of drop right into this, I guess my question to you is why do you turn and recruit the fellow operatives that you do to assist with this task?
Well, Valentine, because he's all arty. Joske, because this would be a nice change of pace, because I get to hobnob with the finer side of Vienna. And Jack, because we've been through a lot of trouble. And I know that he knows that I'm just going to get into more trouble, so he might as well come along.
Jack, does that sound right to you?
You don't even have to come in. You don't even have to suit up and talk to a bunch of ricks. I know that's not your deal. You can just
Emilie,
hang out.
Whenever you're doing something, I always have to suit up. And it usually involves multiple clips. I will help. Let's just. What's your plan? Do you want to steal this thing? Do you want to destroy it on sight?
Well, destroying it would be the secondary option. Preferably, I'd like to take it and see why it's of interest to certain people. But look. I'm not.
And what is this? You said it was squarist or something?
It's cubist. So imagine a square. Imagine a square, right, Jack? Imagine another square, and it's kind of like perpendicular to this square. And then imagine another square, and it's perpendicular to that. And then another, and then another, and then another. That's how many squares is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. And they all kind of wrap around each other. Now imagine that, but as an art movement.
So basically what you're telling me to imagine is craps in a museum.
Yeah. Basically. Exactly. Yes.
Joske, do you jump at the opportunity to hobnob? What is it about Emilie's pitch here that draws you in?
So it's two things. That bottle of whiskey is getting close to empty, and the cigarette case is running low, and so I am both excited by the immediate chance to hobnob and maybe grab something off an hors d'oeuvre tray. But also you gotta live, and I like to live in a certain way. So I assume the job pays. That was I don't do this for my health.
Yeah, Emilie, you're willing to split the take?
Yeah. Emilie lives comfortably enough, but she's not like Joske. She's Joske. She's fine without the finer things. It's more the thrill of it. So she's just look, I even give you 40 or even 50. Well, there's gonna be 4 people involved, so I can't give you the whole of it, but I can give you a part of my take if you want.
I mean, we're professionals. I assume everyone's getting paid. I assume everyone's getting paid.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, if look, I don't really need most of the money. I'm here because it sounds intriguing.
Emilie, and I put my hand on your shoulder. I will happily take as much of your share as you want to give me.
Let's get back to brass tacks. Emilie, I need percentages here. what's the likelihood of needing to destroy this painting versus the likelihood of us actually getting away with it clean? Also, percentages on what our take will be if we can get away with it clean. But more importantly, I need to know the odds of needing to destroy it, and so I'll know what to bring.
If it's all right, I might cut to Valentine and just check in. Valentine, do you just hear heist at an art auction and say, "All right, I'm in," or like what's the part of the pitch that catches your interest?
Oh well, of course. I need to see if any of these folks might be useful in pulling a little bit of a jailbreak I have planned in the future. And this is a wonderful opportunity to see what Jack can do with explosives when he's not just doing it for fun.
Yeah, Emilie, are you reassured by that?
Yeah, but I'll keep an eye on Valentine. He's got schemes upon schemes upon schemes. Well, that comes with a package. You work with Valentine, you should expect ulterior motives.
Oh, you know me so well, Emilie.
I think this would be a delightful time to call up Trip and invite him along.
You want to bring in your handler / your protege?
You're gonna see if Trip wants to come along. How much are you briefing him on the objectives here?
I've told him that we're after some kind of, as near as I can tell, geometry, and that it's going on in a gallery. He should wear a suit, probably, and that I can. The thing that he'll pick up from this particular job is that he'll learn how to run basically a shell game. Because I'm assuming that there's going to be some nifty heist mechanics coming up since Emilie is leading this thing. So this is an opportunity for him to learn how to be in part of an op or run an op that involves taking things that people don't want taken, or destroying them if you can't take them.
Yeah, I bet Trip is on board. He's been enjoying getting on the ground experience, and he says the higher ups were really impressed by that tree job. So we've got some more in the pipeline. Never you fear, Jack. All right.
Oh, trip is it? As in what happens before a fall?
Great. So this is all going on, like perhaps at Checkpoint Midnight itself is what I'm gathering, since we've got characters talking to each other. Does that sound right?
Hey, that's basically our patio. Herr Franz may even be looking at me disapprovingly by this point.
Yeah, and Trip says, and you are?
Oh, I'm just a humble art dealer, Valentine Garvey, and I hold out. I do the full French kiss, both cheeks thing.
He's like slightly taken aback, but he's trying to learn the customs of all of the people in Vienna. So he tries to play
Jack
along.
Always does have such interesting friends. And what do you do exactly?
I handle things.
Oh, well, we should get very well along then. And I give him a grin.
I look at Trip and say, he's learning how to handle things.
Yeah.
He's a very promising study.
All right, we've got. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Just gonna make an off-color joke. We can pass. We can move by.
We've got some of our setup here. I'm being called to observe something that my daughter is doing. It sounds like a good thing, so I'm going to step away for just 2 minutes, and then when we come back, we'll probably make our mission roll.
I mean, that is kind of important. Honestly, if Alexei didn't step away to see that, I think we should all scold him.
It's very important.
right?
It's fine. It's fine. I'm looking for post-war men's fashion for what we're going to be wearing in this at this soiree.
I don't know. Emily, I hope you're planning on getting up to some serious Thomas Crown nonsense with this.
Hey, we're gonna look fancy and we're gonna steal some stuff. I don't know what else. What else could you want?
Tell me, what are the odds that war criminals will be bidding on these pieces of art?
Oh, probably. Well, you were asking for percentages. Definitely on the high. Okay, Emilie would know. I don't know how odds work.
It's Vienna. I mean, you can't walk down the street without tripping over a war criminal.
I mean, you can't throw a grenade without hitting one. So, why do you think I use so many grenades?
Exactly.
I don't know if grenades would be advisable for this job.
You're right. Fire's better.
Okay. All right. Okay. Look, we're not exactly called upon to burn down anything. We're there to mingle, grab a painting, maybe two. If anyone gets in our way, we'll react appropriately.
Just so I'm clear on the rules of engagement, acting appropriately means grenades, correct?
Okay, Jack, I can't tell you if you feel the situation is appropriate or not for grenades. I honestly can't, but I would advise to just,
Because that would involve coming up with a situation where grenades are not appropriate.
I mean, I'm not up on this whole art thing that you go on about from time to time, but aren't there artists who do what was it called, that weird Pollock cat?
I think that he doesn't exist yet, right?
Hey,
it's
I'm
like
back.
1957-ish.
That's a great question, actually. Are we like early 50s, late 50s? I know you maybe don't want to peg it down to like an actual year, but
yeah. I've been saying early 50s, I think.
Great.
My daughter, who's now highly mobile, was crawling all over her mom while her mom was trying to do sit-ups, and it was very funny. It sounds like
she a person
discussing art.
We were.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I thought he was later. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's probably been around. You'd probably be fine knowing him. Yeah.
We were discussing the efficacy of grenades, not art.
And I think at this point, Tripp might actually volunteer the information that the CIA has been contributing to certain forms of art, like abstract expressionism, trying to show that America is a better artistic destination and more culturally valid than the Soviet Union. And for the record, that's actually something that happened. The CIA did fund abstract expressionist exhibitions.
Yep, expressionism was a psyop. Let's check in on this mission. So we've got some operatives assembled. What's our basic approach going to be, Emilie?
We're gonna come in. Come in, look fancy, and just we're trying to be subtle. I think. That's
to
the
you,
main
right?
approach.
Like you
Well,
have
you're trying to be subtle. I'm trying to make an entrance.
I'm okay. I'm going to hide. I'm gonna be subtle and hide within that entrance.
Yeah, like a legitimate distraction is also a certain kind of subtlety.
Yeah. If Valentine's gonna make an entrance, then yeah, we're just gonna skulk in the shadows of that. And how much more do you want me to come up with this plan?
I mean, I guess my plan is: are you just planning to like snatch the art? Planning to like bid on the art? Like what do you think the like acquiring the art part of the plan is likely to look like?
It's probably going to be some kind of disruption. Maybe not grenades.
So we're not forging it and swapping it.
No, I don't think we have the time for that.
Okay, so a disruption will be caused. Art will be nabbed right out from under the noses of Viennese high society. We've specified your basic approach. Now let's ask: do you have good intel about the mission? And for anyone wondering, we're in the mission moves tab here as we as we work this out. Do you have good intel? How do you feel about your intel, Emilie?
Pretty good. Pretty much we got where we're going, what we're meant to take, the general palette of who's going to be there.
Yeah, all right. So you can take a +1. Do you have resources or connections that will help with this mission?
Yes, I have a singer friend.
Oh, Charlotte Vogel.
Yeah. Look, she's probably not busy.
Are you inviting her along? Like what's the or you just like let her know this is happening? You figure any kind of high culture, she's going to be there.
I'm gonna invite her along. I'm not that big of a dick to her. Okay, I did try to con her. But yeah, I think I basically say like, look, it's gonna be a party. No, we're not. Okay, yes, I'm gonna try something, but still gonna get in with me. And you're gonna be terribly helpful. I'm just saying.
And you're going to book me that concert, like we've been talking about.
I'm still gonna do. Yes, of course.
Then I'd be happy to go to your party.
It's not. Well, going for a party for a concert, not a bad trade.
All right. Okay. You're bringing along a singer, possibly just to grease the wheels of artsy society, I guess. Now I want to know: does everyone participating trust the leader's competence and intentions?
Yes, I see no reason not to.
Jack.
It has to be both competence and intentions.
You feel like maybe you trust one, but not the other?
I absolutely trust Emilie's competence in stealing things. Emily's intentions, on the other hand, that's a different subject.
Valentine, what do you think?
Oh, well, I certainly trust Emily's intentions. She's an adorable little scamp.
Emilie, do you trust your own competence and intentions?
You know what? I did not. I trusted my intentions until it was brought up that people wouldn't trust my intentions, and now I don't trust my own intentions.
Okay, so that's a -1. That's all right. Is everyone being upfront about their own agendas and motives for the mission?
I mean, that depends. Who can like? No, I think I'm being upfront. But also there are definitely some former Nazis in Austrian high society. So that's certainly a secondary agenda.
Yeah. You've got a sort of.
I'm also doing what I do to pay my rent, but there are reasons.
I mean, I'm upfront-ish. I mentioned that there may be another job lined up if we do well on this. I just, don't mention that it might be about descending into the underworld. That's all.
If I'm following, I think we ended up getting +1, and then -1 as we ask these questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think did I even mention that this job came from the Americans? I don't think I did.
I'm not sure you told your friends about that part.
No, I just said, hey, look, I got an opportunity.
I never ask too many questions.
Yeah. You don't get as far as you do in this line of work by asking questions about who's providing the jobs. Emilie, you're gonna be making a flat roll to just give us a sense of how the mission has started off, and then we'll pick up from there.
Amazing.
And do you have
No,
a
I'm
link
not
to
gonna.
our roll for your party, or rather,
Yeah.
our roll dice with friends?
God, you can see how stark some of these rolls are. Actually, yeah, I'll roll. I don't want to use up the roll move that I have. Let's see. Okay, so I clicked it, but it didn't do anything. Hold on, let me refresh.
Have you clicked on the D6 to just line them up to be ready to roll?
Yeah, I did. Hold on, I refreshed and it said I had a bad gateway.
Okay.
Oh, the page request is currently unavailable. Why is that? Oh, that's annoying.
It's barfing on me too.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's not working, I can make a new room for us. How's that?
Mhm.
Back to roll dice with friends. Yep. I guess roll dice with friends is just not working right now. Do you have physical dice you can grab? You want to just use those?
Yeah. I got some dice. I was playing a solo game earlier today.
Let's roll them.
Okay. That's a 6.
Oh dear.
So that's a 5 and a 1. I'm not just saying that just to prove myself as trustworthy, because I just.
Yeah, on a miss, something's gone wrong, and you're in the MC's hands. Everyone marks stress, and the MC will tell you who marks a condition. Okay, so, so I assume you get in all right, right? Like, Valentine might have been able to wrangle a real invitation, and the rest of you have like decent forgeries, or able to come in as +1s, right? It's on kind of one of the buildings in the French Quarter that's been being used for diplomatic purposes. They've managed to have the roof turned into the site for this auction. So it's a silent auction. There are paintings set up around the area. People are mingling. Drinks and hors d'oeuvres are being served. It's starlit night. People in their best, all very classy. However, things are going wrong. I think you looked around, initially, and saw a number of other paintings available. People are writing down their bids on the bidding sheets by the paintings. Emilie, it catches your eye that Pallas Athena by Klimt is there. You've been keeping an eye out for that painting, I believe. However, the Stygian Blue Dreams painting is not does not seem to be here. And soon after you first arrived, you saw the auction. The auctioneer, engaged in kind of frantic whispers with the event security, right? And I think you're picking up that maybe someone's beaten you to the punch already. So, Emilie, where do we spot you? Where do we spot you engaged in this time you're the pursuer, right? You're chasing after a figure you're pretty sure might be the thief. And where have you ended up? Like elsewhere in this building, or running along the fire escape? Like what's the shot?
Yeah, I think I overheard what's the whispers, and I think I just look around to see where else is everybody. I'm sure they're all enjoying themselves at this party of some sort, and I was on my way to. I just got in a second drink for Charlotte, and I overhear what's happening, and just so I'm gonna down one of the drinks I got, and this is the one time I tried to look nice as well. I think when we cut to, it's probably going to be. Yeah, I'm going to go through one of the back hallways, just kind of just brazenly, gonna go to the back, and I've seen whoever's whoever I'm pursuing is just around the corridor. So I think we're still in the building.
Nice. Okay, so you're running through the building, and we'll probably check in and see when your fellow operatives kind of realize you've taken off. But yeah, this is enough to mark a stress. Honestly, you're marking the stress, and your fellow operatives are probably each marking stress as they like take in that you're gone and that there's some frantic whispering going on. Joske, what to what tips you off when you're in the presence of someone who's been hollowed out by nightmares and is being used by them to kind of observe and infiltrate the waking world?
It's a smell.
Hmm.
And it's not in. It's actually it's a. Hold on one second. I think it's like a it's like a kind of pleasant smell, like herbal. Yeah, I think it's like this like they have there's like a slight odor of like caraway seeds, that kind of emanates off them. It's not a breath smell. It doesn't smell like they've been eating caraway seeds, but just it's almost like a light perfume.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So like soon after you arrived at this party, you caught this scent, and then it seems to be concentrated around a pair of well-dressed people, a man and woman that are kind of laughing and clinking glasses, and he's putting bids down on the on the art. I'm gonna suggest maybe you're marking a condition as you're pulled between the mission you were initially set and this lead. What do you think that might be?
It's probably twisted.
Oh, tell me about that.
I'm just sort of looking at the character keeper, so I don't have like a full sense of what that means. But my just reading the name of the condition, right? Like I think it's that like I'm spun around. I made a commitment that I would like to keep. But like also, obviously this person needs to be shot in the head with a cold iron bullet.
Yeah, I totally buy it. The conditions are really just that. Like they're the names, and they cut against a stat, but it's up to you to interpret what it means to be blunted, twisted, compromised, burned, and they admit of multiple interpretations. So if you think you're getting twisted in this moment, that makes sense to me. And finally, I think yeah, I mean, so I haven't dropped you into a burning warehouse this time, but this was a miss on the mission move. So I think Jack, you're what? Where are you? What does it look like when Jack's at a fancy event like this?
I'm enraptured by the Klimt painting and can't stop staring at it.
Yeah.
I'm not touching it because one doesn't touch art. I know that much, and I don't quite know what I'm looking at, but I know that it is a beauty that I have not seen before. And besides, Emilie's always running off and getting into things, and she always turns up, and she's usually more or less okay. I figure she can spare me for a few moments while I stare at this painting.
I'm sure she can. Yeah. As you're staring at the painting, the kind of goddess figure within the painting kind of changes, and you see the face of death looking out at you.
Hello, love. How have you been?
Surviving. Like,
Only surviving. I should think you'd be thriving at this point in history.
you might think that, but there are so many people trying to cheat me, Jack. You wouldn't believe it.
I mean, if you are appearing in this lovely painting to tell me that people are trying to cheat you, it must be serious.
She kind of nods towards a let's see. She nods towards a well-dressed woman at the kind of who's examining one of the other paintings here, and she says, Kozakova, she's been eluding me for too long. I need you to give her a message that her time is nearly up.
Kosakova, you say?
Russian.
And here I thought she was Brazilian or Portuguese.
Your dry wit never ceases to amuse, she says, but she doesn't sound amused. Will you do this for me?
Of course. We're friends, you and I. At least, I consider us friends. You're about the closest thing I have to a friend, I should say. How could I say no?
That's very touching, Jack. And the painting kind of swirls back to what we'd seen before. Valentine, as far as you can tell, things are going great.
Of course. I take a sip from my champagne flute.
You see Joske seeming to sniff the air, presumably enjoying the nice perfumes of the attendees, and Jack is staring enraptured at a painting. You're not sure where Emilie has gotten off to, but probably that's part of the plan, right? What do you do?
Oh, of course, I'm sure.
It's a rooftop full of glittering Viennese figures.
Oh, while chatting and flirting with Trip, I scan the. I mean, I flirt with everyone I talk to. It's a vice, I know, but I will fess up to it. But I'm scanning the roof, seeing if there's anyone interesting about that might complicate or be a potential payoff in this job.
Cool. Sounds like you might be trying to decipher the situation.
Yep.
So do you have physical dice in front of you?
I have another die roller open for myself, so I'll just use that.
Okay, that also works. Are you using your just natural senses, or are you getting into kind of supernatural stuff here?
Just my natural, but they're both the same.
Roll plus operator to decipher a situation.
Cool. So I got a 9.
Okay, you're gonna get to ask me one question from the decipher list as we see Valentine kind of moving easily throughout the party and taking a look around, gauging what resources are available.
Who's pulling the strings here?
Oh, fascinating. It looks like possibly Roll Dice with Friends is back, so we'll try that on our next roll. Who's pulling the strings here at this auction? Yeah, as the auctioneer is a Frenchman, Gaspard Devereaux. I'm sure you recognize him from your own time in the art world. He's wearing a like flashy velvet suit and bow tie, but he has hurried over, seemingly like he can like walk slowly past some of the attendees, like smiling and shaking hands and cheek kissing, and then kind of falls in next to this dark-haired woman that you overhear him addressing as Miss Kozakova, and he's like talking to her and like looking like worried about how she'll respond. You realize on some level she must be pulling the strings.
Yes, I just kind of. Oh, excuse me, Trip. I have just spotted an old friend, and I stroll over and and kind of look. Who's the Frenchman again?
Gaspard Devereaux, auctioneer. I can put him into our
Yes.
NPCs list if you need him.
Gaspard, are you still trying to foist those phony Picassos on someone? You are such a bore, and I look over at the woman he's speaking with. Valentine Garvey, a pleasure making your acquaintance.
Mr. Garvey, I'm sure the pleasure is all mine. Yelena Kozakova. I think I've heard your name at events like this before.
Oh, I hope it was attached to only the worst scandals.
She laughs lightly. She says, mere scurrilous rumors, surely. I work in art myself, dabbling, I suppose you might say, with the Soviet cultural attaché program. Perhaps we could have you at our embassy one of these days.
I would relish the opportunity, but why don't you tell me more of what brings you to this opening? Do you have something in particular you're looking for?
Gaspard says, Valentine, I know you like your little jokes, but I'm afraid I have something serious to discuss with Mademoiselle Kozakova. Please,
blah blah blah. Do you really put up with this dry French gutter wine?
He like sputters a little bit. I want to know, are you making a move here as you just insult the auctioneer?
If you think I'm making a move, feel free to like call it. I am just playing Valentine right now.
Is it possible you're fast talking Devereaux to like get him out of here, right?
Yeah, something like that probably, or fast talk. What's her face? That I'm clearly the one she should be dealing with.
Tell me which of those you're primarily trying to do. Are you trying to?
I think probably the latter. Like I'm trying. I know who pulls the strings here, and I'm trying to like impress her as someone that like needs that like I should be the one she's bringing in on whatever deal she's looking at here.
Okay. Let's go to the dice then. If you don't mind giving me an operator roll.
Okay. And that is a 14.
Wow. Valentine, you are the smoothest operator. What does this look like? You're choosing 3 from the fast talk list, and also you can give us a sense of just how you totally dominate this conversation and turn it towards the ends you want.
Oh well. I probably am making a few more jokes at Gaspard's expense. Did you hear about the French art dealer whose wife caught him in bed with the maid? Well, I'm sure Gaspard can tell you all about it.
So like, I feel like he may like just throw a glass of wine in your face at some point in all this. Do you?
That's fair.
Okay. I mean,
Like,
unless
I'm
you're
trying to impress her, not him. If he hates me, whatever.
I mean, like, plot. It was a really good fast talk. Maybe he like reaches for the glass of wine, and you like, catch it as he's about to throw it.
Oh
in
yes,
your
I
face.
catch it. Oh, thank you. I was getting low, Gaspard, and take a sip.
Okay, great. So he's speechless and left sputtering, and you were able to just like whisk away Kozakova. It sounds like.
Yeah.
I buy it. Emilie, you are racing.
So I definitely threw someone under the bus. So that is the one I am not taking.
Yeah, that totally tracks. Yeah. Okay. Cool. You're keeping. Sounds like you're kind of keeping Gaspard confused. You're definitely creating an opportunity. So I'll give you advantage as when you next make a move here. I feel like possibly you're getting leverage on Gaspard just by exposing his thin skin. And
well, but am I gaining a secret though from Gaspard?
You're exposing a weakness. Certainly, is there a secret you're looking to expose?
Okay, if I was maybe it was weakness or secret. I'm sorry, I might have just misread the move.
Oh, no worries. I'm trying to follow what seems to make sense. But
okay. I thought it said you expose a secret, but then I see there's weakness there too. Okay, yeah. That's okay. I'm fine with that then. I just was confused about okay.
Yeah, cool. Emilie, I'm going to cut down to you for a moment. You are. What were you wearing again? You're dressed for a an auction, not for a chase, I think.
Yeah, I was dressed to frolic. And so it's this dress, which is fairly nice, is not helping with this chase for sure. While we're kind of like on these hallways. So I'm just kind of like cursing whoever this is as I'm running. I've taken off the heels for sure. I'm just kind of like, night is ruined. Might as well. Hope everyone else is having fun. Whatever. I think there's like a moment where like I can see like they're maybe like I see them. I'm imagining these hallways are kind of like not. Lights aren't open except there's like the moon out. So
everyone took the elevator up to the roof. No one was supposed to be down in these corridors at all. So yeah, it's no electric lighting, just some moonlight streaming in, and you like catch the shadow of the person you're chasing, like turning a corner up ahead.
Yeah, I think like I see that like they've made like the stairwell, and then I'm just like, fuck this, or in so many words, and I reach into my purse and pull out like a piece of chalk. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna draw a door on the floor.
Goodness. Nice.
And just kind of like see if I can catch.
Oh, beautiful! Up. So you're hoping to just open up a hole and kind of drop on them if possible.
Yeah, like this is the kind of thing I think myself and Victoria joked about way back when, because like I was asking her like, how does she always get into my apartment? And she says, "Oh, I just draw doors on the walls." And I gotta figure it. Okay, no, I gave her the keys. I think that's what I did. Or she may have been drawing holes in drawing doors in the walls. Who knows? But I'm gonna try this anyway.
Yeah. So is this a special piece of chalk in any way, or you just think probably you can do this thing now, and you've pulled out a piece of chalk to test it?
I think I've done it before. Actually, no, I don't think I've done it before because I just got that move. And I tried to think if this is important enough that I should use my roll move.
Oh, up to you. It's a plus fable roll, I think.
Yeah. You know what? No, I'm fine rolling for now because my fable it's a flat roll.
Yep.
Fable it's a big nada. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, that's a 10.
Nice. That's what you want. So you get the door, comes into existence fully operational, and you don't even need to choose one of the downsides. So yeah, give me a sense of what this looks like. But I think you're definitely going to be able to use this to get the drop on the person you've been chasing.
Yeah, so I'm standing like at the edge of the stairwell, and I can hear them. They're close. So what I do is just like just get on my knees and just like cursing that I could be hobnobbing and having fun at a party, but I'm on my knees on this dirty floor, drawing a door, wondering if this is gonna work out. And like,
the party is much more fun.
Yeah. Somehow I hear Valentine say in my head that the party's much more fun. And I'm wondering, did he do that deliberately? And as I make this like square chalk, this chalk square, and just like, and I kind of like angrily like tap my fist against it, and suddenly it opens, and I'm falling through the floor and hopefully landing on whoever I'm pursuing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you land on a you land on a pale young man who kind of like screams and curses as you just drop on top of him, and he's holding a what's clearly a painting, right, but just wrapped in brown paper, right, and so like the package goes flying and skids across the floor a little ways, but for the moment he's on the ground, you're on top of him. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna try to like just wrestle him to the ground and say like, you couldn't have, I don't know about you, but parties are meant to be enjoyed, my friend. I know we all have ulterior motives, but we could have let at least some of us enjoy some of the nice food, the nice company. You didn't have to be so jumpy. I'm kind of like muttering this to him as I kind of like try to like make sure he's not get away from me as I'm on him.
Are you like trying to like knock him out or any do you think you're resorting to violence, or you're just like trying to have a chat?
Kind of both. I don't want to knock him out fully because I'm curious who he is, but I think I'm definitely resorting to violence still.
Yeah,
kind of like fighting.
I'll give you let's see, I'll give you advantage on this because you ambushed him from above and he was not expecting that.
Oh, thanks.
You can roll 3 dice and take the 2 you like best.
Yeah, and my weapon is surprisingly decent. Well, that's an 11. So, where did this roll? Where was? I shouldn't have trusted these physical dice.
Yeah. Okay, so on a hit, exchange blows, inflicting harm as appropriate. It sounds like mostly what you want to inflict is just keep knocking the wind out of him, keeping him from getting back to his feet, anything like that. What 2 do you pick from the resort to violence list?
I think I hit them and avoid their blow.
Yeah,
and I don't end up entangled with them. Basically, I just want to keep Emilie make sure that like Emilie like is on top of the situation.
So what does the hit look like? Are you like slamming him down on the floor so he knows it's best not to get up and cause any more problems for you?
I think like he's flat on the floor and I'm kind of like on his back, and he kind of like tries to raise his hand, and I'm kind of like just knock him kind of like down with like my forearm. They're like, oh no! Did you not just hear about the party that you ruined for me? You just kind of just stay there, friend.
Yeah. He's breathing heavily. He says, "You have no idea what you're getting into. You don't want that painting. Trust me."
Darling, you're probably like the 5th person this week who've told me that I shouldn't be getting into things I didn't, but I've already done that. I've already done that routine. What's so interesting about this painting?
It's not art, it's a weapon. It's gonna warp minds. It's gonna break the world.
Right, and you just want to like keep the world from breaking. Who are you again, friend?
I don't have to tell you anything.
Well, I don't know. You're kind of like not in a position to not tell me anything, you know? I kind of like just tap him on the head.
just reminding him that you are in charge here. Sure. We might cut away. Is that all right?
Yeah.
But you can probably get some answers, I'm sure. Joske, it sounded like you wanted to regroup with Jack.
Yeah, if Jack is still staring at that painting, I may be, sort of note where the smell is coming from. Note the faces and positions of the two people there, and make my way across the floor. Grabbing an hors d'oeuvre off a past hors d'oeuvre off a tray as I walk by. And I walk over to Jack. I say, Jack,
Have you seen this painting?
Could I ask you a favor?
Look at it.
It's beautiful.
Look at
it's really something. It's really something. Yeah, they're really, don't see colors like that very often. So want to help me out? Wanna give some Nazis a bad day?
You have my attention.
I sort of like turn my head towards them, sort of like indicate them, and I say, listen, I'm gonna make a move. Maybe stay a little ways back, and if just close enough to keep an eye out, and when the moment comes to step in.
And define stepping in.
Well, hopefully what's going to happen is me and those two, are they, you didn't
man and a woman.
Give me pronouns for them. Yeah. So when that couple, when those two people, and I walk out towards the service entry, you'll just be able to follow us at a little bit of distance. But if it starts to get ugly, well, maybe you can keep it from getting ugly for us, and make it uglier for them.
Joske, I want to make sure that I'm understanding here. When you say ugly, do you mean that I should go quiet or go loud?
As quiet as possible.
So piano wire and my silence 22 then.
Exactly. We don't want to call too much attention to ourselves if we can avoid it.
I am more than happy to help you with this, but I need a moment first. I need to... An old friend has asked me to have a word with someone.
This shouldn't take too long, I don't think. There's only the two of them and the two of us.
We're probably not going to want to return to the party after that.
Oh, I really hope we'll be able to. I look longingly at the bar.
Perhaps you should avail yourself of that station now. I'm certain that with as busy as this place is, they won't notice a bottle or two.
Okay, here's what I want to do. I don't want to lose this opportunity. Those aren't just Nazis. I kind of... No, I'd take too long.
You want to make a stand on this?
I do want to make a stand, but I kind of wanted to try to make a power move and make a stand while telling him about an ally I lost. Using that as my piece, but I don't know that I want to take the time right now to tell that story.
That can, if you could give us like the broad strokes and say that's part of what you're saying, right?
Yeah, sure. So I think that the basic story is just I tell him the story of a former lover, This was like just as I was just right after I came back to Europe in like '49. Former lover, and I got involved. I got involved with this guy, and where, and I wake up one morning, and he's not him anymore. He's someone completely different, and he tries to kill me, and I do what I have to do. But that's how I found out, and I sort of built into who these aren't just any Nazis. There's a bigger thing going on here, and he's probably heard this from me before, right? And I don't know. You can tell me how
not the story of that personal connection.
Yeah, not like the impassioned personal story of loss and betrayal. I say that morning I woke up and there was a heavy smell, and that smell's on them. These are the same kind of things, Nazi things.
I understand.
And I can't lose that. So I cannot lose this opportunity to deal with them.
All right, go ahead and clear a stress or take an XP from your release move.
I think that it's a refresh move. I think it's the one that lets me clear a condition.
I think not. I think we're on isolated, right? Share a story of a fallen ally or false friend.
Oh, sorry, you're absolutely right. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll take the XP.
Yeah, and then go ahead and roll Dreamer to make a stand. And and Jack, you'll always get a choice about what you do, but depending on how well this goes, you'll have different carrots and sticks.
All right, roll 2d6. That's a 4 + 2 is a 6.
Oh man. Okay. So
Mark experience.
You do mark experience, so you're racking that up. Oh, and Emilie, you should mark experience for that missed mission move when we started off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so it's got to be that like as you're telling this story, Jack like spots over your shoulder the two people you indicated are like just making their way over to you, right? And so like you get close to the end talking about the smell, and then like all around you is that smell of caraway seed, right? That like strange perfume, and there's two shiny smiles on these faces, and we will we'll cut away and check.
Can I just ask Jack a quick question? Did that affect what you think about my mission?
In terms of,
like, are you starting to believe it? Or do you still think I'm crazy? What's the, like, does it push you more into the crazy camp? Like, what's the?
I am an undead thing wandering the streets of Vienna because mad scientists put me together. I don't think you're crazy.
Okay.
But I in this case, just to maintain your cover, I will say something along the lines of, "That's very interesting. Thank you for giving me that detail about the painting."
Yes, just trying to let him know, time to pipe down on that. Absolutely. Let's take 5 here, just because I want to make sure we get our breaks in, and then come back at like 10 past to do our kind of our finale for this session. Cool. Yes. So yeah, I mentioned in the chat. I felt like as part of that missed consequence, Joske should take a stress from sort of being blindsided. If you want to say you cleared the one stress from the release move, okay, cool.
No, it's fine. I was just griping.
Right. So Valentine, let's check in with you. You've dispatched Gaspard. You've got Kozakova to yourself, and she says, you've clearly gone to great lengths to have this tete-a-tete. So, what is it you want, Mr. Garvey?
You think I don't simply want the honor of your company?
She raises an eyebrow.
Very well. If we must get to business, I think that we all know that there is a certain painting that is of value to anyone in the know here.
There was a certain painting. I've just been informed someone snatched it.
Oh dear, and I'm sure you know nothing about that.
She kind of regards you levelly. Are you trying to decipher a person or situation?
Sure, I guess, yeah.
Or if you're doing something else, tell me. Right? It sounds a little like you're trying to just like poke at her.
Yeah, I'm just kind of poking at her, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
You have an advantage from that last fast talk.
Okay, and advantage in this is rolling 3. What does advantage mean in this game?
You get to roll 3 dice and pick the 2 you want.
Okay. Okay, so that is a 11.
You get to ask 3 questions from the decipher list. You are
okay.
You are killing it, or you're seeing through things.
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on under the surface?
Sure.
Yeah, we're having this nice little, tete-a-tete with one another. Exchanging barbs, flirtations. What do I pick up on that is the conversation that is actually the subtext here?
Yeah, so she says something like, don't presume your reputation doesn't precede you, Mr. Garvey. I know you have taken used unorthodox methods to acquire paintings of your own, and we'll just spell out some subtext. She had like multiple plans to acquire this painting. One was bidding on it. The other was having some backup that could steal it if someone else tried stealing it. So she's not surprised someone's gone after it, and she has someone to retrieve it, she believes.
Oh dear. Well, I should. I'm just kind of thinking of how to phrase this. Oh, I should. If you, yeah. And actually, I guess the other question I'll just ask straight up is, what's a weak point I could exploit?
Yeah, a weak point of Kozakova's. Just yeah. And to exploit to do what? What are you thinking? Just
Well, no. I guess I'll ask first. How could I gain leverage?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that will probably be the better one, and then we'll play it out a little bit.
Yeah, she introduced herself as a cultural attaché. Everyone knows that's code for spy. She's clearly working to make sure the Soviets aren't left behind, as all of the powers seem to be scrambling to get weird and arcane resources, right? So a lead on anything like that might get you in her good graces. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, and I say, well, of course, I'm aware that I'm sure that a woman like yourself has resources for getting this painting beyond the merely legal. But I have those avenues as well, and I take a puff on a cigarette and kind of let out a slow stream of smoke.
And is there anything like supernatural about the smoke that comes out, right? Like, are you kind of showing your hand a little bit here?
No, but I think I do let drip my my shades that I always wear.
Nice.
And there are behind it, instead of eyes, I just have black pits that stare into the empty space between the stars.
Great. Yeah. So your sunglasses at night, but beyond the sunglasses, the abyssal gaze.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she's been presenting pretty unflappably. I think she gets flapped a little bit here, right? Like there's a mouth agape for a moment, and perhaps I underestimated your resources after all, Mr. Garvey.
I'm more than just a pretty face and an excellent conversationalist, my dear.
And I think you have one more question.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, this is where I wanted to say, like, what is like the weak point in like Kosakova? Because like we've wrapped up that she has multiple angles for this. Like, I'm kind of thinking, like, what is she not? What is like? Perhaps what is she not planned, or what is like the vulnerability in like her like backup plans to the backup plans?
Boy, so there's like a buzz coming from her, like, stylish little wristwatch, right? Like, because this is before cell phones, but of course there's all sorts of weird experimental stuff that people in your line of work have, right? And like, as she like really like quickly glances down at it, and yeah, it's like there's like a little like symbol of a lightning bolt, just like kind of momentarily visible on the face of the watch. Yes, Dick Tracy style radio wristwatch, sure. And we'll say you've swapped some stories with your fellow operatives. You remember there's this Russian guy who throws lightning, who keeps turning up.
Him.
Yeah. Timofey, who appears to be some sort of galvanized operative, and you put the pieces together that's who she's relying on. And to be honest, that's the weak point, because your friends have dealt with Timofey before, and kind of come out ahead.
Your help, I think, is not something that can be relied upon. If you ever are looking for someone more adequate, you should drop by my gallery sometime. And I turn to walk away.
Are you like leaving her with like a business card or something?
Yeah.
Great. Is that all you want to do there? Because I think she'll take the card and probably doesn't have a strong response to you kind of like pointing out that weak point.
Am I trying to do anything? I mean, no, there's not really like a negotiate with someone move. Actually, yeah, I kind of stare at her and say, I have seen the space between the cold, dark spaces that your kind walked through on the way to death. I have walked them myself many times. It's something to think about. And so I am actually pushing then for the move.
Attend the tail.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can take advantage on this because you're I think you're acting on your decipher answers here. So roll plus fable with advantage.
Okay. And that is another 14.
Wow, because there's 2 6s in that roll, and you can just throw away that 5.
Yeah.
Valentine, you are the most effective operative that we've seen, but you're also.
I think that Puckett can attest that this is like a complete reversal of my fortunes from
that Apocalypse World game. Did you get a single roll over did you get a single even partial success in that game?
I got 110. I got 110 that whole run.
So one full success in, what was it, like 12 hours of playtime?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Valentine, which options do you pick from Attend the Tale? You can pick 2 out of these 3.
Yeah. I'm gonna successfully convey the dangers of the other place and convince them that what they need is in the other place.
Beautiful. Yeah. So mark down that you've taken leverage on Yelena Kozakova. You see the fear in her eyes and the greed, right? Like you've given her the sense you come from you're the real deal, and she wants what you have.
Yep.
So let's check in on Emilie. Emilie, you had kind of mostly subdued the person who'd stolen that painting. I was saying you'd get some answers. He says, "My name doesn't matter, but you can call me Ambrose. I'm with the Noble Order of the Silver Eye. We're trying to secure things like this and make sure that they're not the weapons that the next World War is fought with." Noble Order of the Silver Eye.
Something of the Silver Eye. You don't have to be related to the Sons of... Okay, cool, Ambrose. You're not related to the Sons of the Eagle, are you? Oh, Jesus. Well, I'm glad you introduced yourself, Ambrose, because here's kind of what's going to happen. I'm going to take that painting. I'm going to leave you here. And when next we meet, you owe me a party.
What does that mean?
Well, you kind of ruined this whole night for me by getting ahead of me. I was hoping to just have a chat with folks, have a scope out what's happening, but you kind of ruined my night, so you owe me.
He just kind of he just looks flustered. This is not how he expected getting having someone get the drop on him while he was stealing this painting to go. What do you do, Emilie?
I mean, what I'm gonna do eventually, I'm just trying to figure out how to deal with this book, Ambrose. I think what my entire plan is just give him a pat in the cheek, kind of get up, take that painting, open a window, and just fall off this building.
I see. So the whole plan is grab it and out the window.
Well, yeah, initially I had a more complicated plan about schmoozing with the auctioneers and finding out where the painting is and then drawing a door underneath it, but needs must.
Plan's out the window, and so are you.
Yeah. I guess yeah, the main thing is just like what. All right, Emily's gonna stand up. She's gonna take the painting. Hopefully Ambrose is still on the floor. She's just gonna like open a window and she's holding the painting perched on the windowsill. It's kind of like looking back at him and just being like, remember, if you don't come to me with a party, I'm gonna come for you. And well, let's just say that opening doors and falling out of windows isn't the only thing I can do, friend.
Falling? Where are you going?
And I fall off the window.
Okay, great. So it's not the fall that kills you because you aren't injured by falls, however far. It's so you're good on this. I think I want to make you roll exfiltrate, right? Just to see if you get out totally clean. But you're definitely going to be you're definitely not going to be harmed by this fall, even if we say this is 5-6 stories up, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there could be like 500 people, not 500, 5 people waiting down at the bottom. Yeah, I will roll. Let's see. This is kind of stealth. I'm not forcing my way out of here.
Yeah. All right, roll plus operator.
Yeah. All right, 8. Oh wait, oh shit, that's 3 dice. Never mind. Reroll. So roll 3 dice. That's not right. Okay, maybe I shouldn't reroll. That's a shame because I got a better roll and I feel ashamed about it.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. So
I'm sorry.
So with your operator, that makes it a 10 plus.
That's an 11. Yeah.
Okay, on a 10
This
plus,
is the smoothest a mission has ever gone.
at a 10 plus, you get out clean and land in a position of strength. I'm going to go ahead and say, especially taking a look at our time, that like you, like from the ground, you spot a little a flash of electricity from one of these windows, and then like you see like Timofey like sticking his head out, like looking around, but he doesn't clock you, right? Like so like you get that intel that like Timofey was definitely, well, you surmise he's probably after the same prize as you, but you are getting out clean with this painting that you were sent to acquire. And I think what I'm inclined to do is just check back in on our other operatives and like give us a little cliffhanger there, and then when we pick up next time, start with them up on the roof before we maybe move to the operatives all regrouping. Does that sound all right? So I think Jack, Joske, the two of you, have suddenly have the folks that you were planning to catch up to standing right next to you, and the man says, like, put it with like a joking affect. He says, "Darling, why don't you distract these gentlemen so I can outbid them for this painting?" And then he goes right past you to like scrawl something on the auction sheet, and the woman leans in a little closer, still smiling, and says, like, directly to you, Joske, "You're never going to win. You can't defeat what lives inside your head."
I find that if you hollow out the head, whatever was in there isn't alive anymore.
She laughs. "You'd think that, but not always in my experience."
Well, it usually at least slows you folks down.
I think that might be our pithy one-liner for our for kind of wrapping up tonight. But I do want to give us a chance to go through end of session moves. So Jack, each session, choose one of these from the list. Describe how your character's ideology or loyalty has been shifted by what they've learned and mark XP. Explain how you've gained advantageous insight into a character you interacted with to gain leverage over them. Or describe how another operative can tell you to take a bullet for them, remove 1 stress from them, and mark 1 stress yourself. Any of those jump out at you?
Really quick, is it okay if I mark the refresh move as well?
Yeah. Which one do you think you hit?
I didn't hit it. I was going to try to, but we're at time.
Mm-hmm. So what was what were you aiming for? Do you think there's one you want to like kind of weave into this?
I was going to talk to Kosakova and try to hit Die Hard.
Recruit others to pursue a lost cause.
Die Hard or idealistic?
it's I feel like that's something to angle for when we meet again. Does that sound all right?
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping to mark that XP this session.
Because you've got an eye on an advancement, I take it.
Of course, I always have eyes on advancement.
I think I don't think we have the time. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, looking at end of session moves. I think I believe Joske a little bit more, so I'll mark XP. It's not that I doubted it to begin with, but
you've smelled a little more confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And we've established Jack's senses are a little strange, but something about that caraway seed perfume was carrying even for you. Absolutely. Emilie, what do you choose from the end of session moves?
I'm kind of leaning towards gaining advantageous insight into a character interacted. I'm just gonna keep taking leverage over all these people.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, this lad Ambrose.
Yeah, he owes you a party.
Yeah, he owes me a party. A bit of a do-gooder, ain't he? And yeah, he owes me for ruining my night, so I'm gonna take leverage over him.
All right, I'll put him into the NPCs tab, definitely. Joske, what do you think you choose from the end of session moves?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Oh, I'm mute. No, I'm not muted. I'm thinking. I've learned a little bit about this nightmare fae woman. Who I just had this little tete-a-tete with. That she is enormously arrogant. Just like the amount of self-confidence that she has is overwhelming, and I want to take leverage over her.
Yeah, absolutely. Anna Seidler.
Got it.
And
I maybe want to, not for now, but maybe at the beginning of next session, bona fides.
Oh yeah, that's legit, especially for meeting an important new NPC.
Yeah, next session. I just wanted to make a note of it now, or put it in my notes.
Good thinking. Last but not least, Valentine. Any of these end of session moves jump out to you?
So I think I basically gained leverage over everyone I interacted with this session. So I think that like Valentine probably like having learned that like the Soviets are desperate for some mystical whatnots and are willing to pay for it. I might see if Emilie might I know how to dispose of it, Emilie. I know how to dispose of things like this. So I think that's how my loyalty has shifted. Like maybe I can get Emilie to just hand over the pain to me, and then I can quietly sell it to Kosakova.
Okay, I see. Your loyalty shifted because you're working the angles even on your alleged friends. Sure, take an XP.
I think that if Emilie, like I have trained Emilie to do, I have taught Emilie to do the same to me.
Yeah, so basically, it's a race where who gets to sell to the Soviets first. Emilie might beat you, just saying.
Yeah.
Oh man. Checkpoint midnight, everyone. So that's an XP for you, Valentine. Thank you all for playing tonight. Thanks for being willing to jump right in to a mission, and we'll pick up with some of that cliffhanger as we start off next time. For anyone who has been hanging out, listening or watching along, thanks for your interest in Checkpoint Midnight. Stay safe out there, and see you next week, hopefully.